Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Local Authors with Kameel Nasr. I am Kameel Nasr. I have a wonderful guest here. Tell us a little about yourself. All right, we have Carrie Johnson, a great writer. This is the book that she has now called Hat Flash, and I just found out that she has another one on the way. So, Carrie, you have a very rich past, which we want to explore. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And tell us, first of all, how you became a writer.
Oh, it was a journey, but you know how I never knew what I wanted to be when I grew up, but English teachers said I was a good writer. I always loved reading.
Yes.
I'm sure I loved writing.
And you teach writing right now, right?
No, actually, I teach business and communication courses, but not writing.
Oh, really?
No, I have a degree in journalism, and I used it for several years. I was a newspaper reporter.
You were a reporter.
Right.
Yeah.
But that industry has changed, and I've been out of it for a long time. So I teach critical thinking and public speaking. And,
oh, really?
You know, business ethics.
Yeah, but you probably grade people on their writing, right? You're
yes.
Yeah, you're a professor at
Worcester
State.
Framingham State. I'm an adjunct professor, so I travel around.
And when you went to school, you studied?
I studied journalism. Because the English teacher said I was a good writer.
Yeah.
So,
but journalism has changed so much.
It is. It's very different. So. No, I have a master's in journalism, but I couldn't teach it. It's very different today.
Yeah. And then you went to start your own business, right?
I did.
Okay, tell us.
Well, as a newspaper reporter, I wasn't making enough money to take care of my children, and I was a single parent. So I started cleaning offices. And that kind of snowballed into a business, and I stopped being a reporter, and I started running this business, and it grew to be, a multi-million-dollar company with 165 employees.
Really? Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And you gave that up for writing?
I gave that up for writing. Okay. Look, I didn't love cleaning.
Yeah. I'll tell you. We met in, I think it was November. I bought your book, read it, really loved your book, really loved your writing, and I thought a lot of this was autobiographical, which means that you're a good writer, right? Is this autobiographical?
Not at all.
All right, let's talk about it because it's a very good book. First of all, most of this action takes place in Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
But you don't know Philadelphia?
Well, I do now. I have a girlfriend in Philadelphia, and she, in fact, was a firearms examiner. She was a Philadelphia police officer, and she worked in the firearms as a firearms examiner.
Yeah.
So the main character is based after her. She will tell you that nothing else applies to her because her life is not nearly that exciting.
Yes.
But so yes, I'd go to Philadelphia a lot and ride around and pick her brain about Philadelphia and the places things could happen. And she became my advisor. So I'd go back and I'd write all these stories and do all this research. And
I had the feeling that you know all about firearms, that you're this big gun expert. But no,
I'm getting there.
But you weren't before.
No, but she made me do a lot of reading and a lot of research so that I could learn about guns. So when I put stuff out there and gave it to her, it was just about, okay, this is authentic, this is right, this is good, this won't work, this should be this way, and then I'd rewrite. And
she has a younger sister who is...
Muriel does.
Yes. Here we go. You see, I'm confusing reality and the story.
Yeah.
So she has this younger sister who she really cares about. And the younger sister... Okay, give me the younger sister's name.
Her name is Norris.
Norris, that's right.
Yes.
Beautiful name. And the younger sister... got into some hot water and went into a...
Shh, don't tell it all.
Okay. I don't want to give the story away.
You can't give the story away.
I don't want to give the story away.
But let's start it off and say that Muriel is she's older. Okay, hence Hot Flash. But she's older and she's thinking about whether or not she's chose the right career because she's never been married. She hasn't been in a relationship in a long time. And then all of a sudden her sister calls her and tells her she got this letter with this information in it that only the two of them know. So it's about those secrets of the past coming back to kind of bite you in the butt, and for them, their lives were at stake. So so begins the unraveling of that whole story.
Could I talk a little about your personal life?
Sure.
I mean, you had a harsh life, right? Can you? No.
I don't know I don't know if it was harsh. I mean, things happen.
Things happen, like.
I was one of those children that was sexually abused by a relative, and that probably led me down a different path than maybe I would have gone down. I don't know. So it was I had a lot of self-esteem issues and that kind of thing, and got into drinking a lot and got into drugs, but.
It's really hard to believe you're so up and that you would be into drugs and alcohol. You're so vibrant now and so on. It's really hard to believe.
That's way back there. And then when I started the company and it became successful, that was kind of my path where, I had all these people depending on me and, my kids, and I was able to, God help me, was able to give it all up and move forward. So dreams started taking hold.
So intimately a little bit about the sisters, Nourice's life, right?
I know a lot about family and the love for family, and that's what a lot of this is based on. I mean, my sister and a girlfriend who was like family are ones that helped me start the company, and they did that to get me out of what I was doing, I think, and by the time they left me with this company, it was up and running and it was vibrant, and I was moving forward on a good path. So family is huge.
Did you find it difficult to talk about sexual abuse? Did you come to terms with it? How did you come to terms with it?
I come to terms. It's interesting. When I was a newspaper reporter, I was doing a story of an organization that helped women who had been sexually abused. And as the woman's telling me about it, I'm shaking my head. And she said, "You're shaking your head like you know what I'm talking about." Then I couldn't talk about it. But after it, when that was all over, it's something that happens. And I did, the first book I wrote was about that. And it was, and every time I went out to talk about it, people would say, "How could you say that out loud?" You know what? When you say something like that out loud, it has no more power over you.
Right.
So I had so many women coming to me and saying their stories and saying it out loud and saying how much it helped them. So it was
one of the things about the book here, the antagonist is a real bad guy. He's got a lot of power, and and we find out that he's kind of integrated into the life of I don't want to give anything away.
He's integrated. Yes, he is.
He's in there, and there's more to it than meets the eye. But again, there's this guy who's really, really powerful, and yet he's pretty bad, right?
Yes, and he'll be reduced.
Where did you get that character from?
He's not based on anybody. One thing somebody told me when I started writing fiction, because it's very different than writing as a journalist. I mean, I had to take courses, and it took me a long time to. And one thing somebody told me is just sit down and write and let the characters lead you. And I thought that sounded like a bunch of bunk. But in fact, you sit down and you start writing, and the characters lead you, and your imagination goes, and the story moves, and Jesse Boone was born.
And so, where do you get your characters? You keep a notebook. You look at people, friends, yourself.
I think that and I think that a lot of people will tell you a lot of the characters in your book take pieces from people that you know.
Yes.
Characters that you know. I mean, Muriel's best friend, who is Dulcie, if you remember.
Yes, that's right.
My mother had a best friend, and Dulcie is based after her because she was just that kind of woman. She was Dulcie.
They would die for each other.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
And that's a really good person to have.
And so that relationship, you blend that relationship in stories. So I think we pull from what we know when we're writing.
And we in the book there's kind of what shall we say, complicated relationships with her colleagues, with the people in the police department that she
Yes.
works with. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you talk a little about that? Or I don't want to tell us a little about it.
You know, there's a little personal parts, and there's, you know, you work at a place for a long time. You build these relationships, and
Right.
some of them are very close, and
Yes.
it can become complicated. And you know, when you think about police departments and the work that they do, you know, and it goes down to generations. So it turns out that Muriel's boss was in fact her father's best friend, who, you know, was killed some time ago.
Yes,
so there's a
yes.
story there,
There is,
that becomes part of the book, and some's positive, some's, you know,
Yeah.
it's hard to say much more than that without giving
what I
it
like
away.
about the book is that it all comes together. There's so many connections, and they all fit together. Yeah. So when you wrote this book, did you kind of like outline? Did you have the idea for it? Did you have the plot? How did you go about writing it?
When I wrote this book, I was just at the beginning of I want to write a book of fiction. And then I said, I want to write a mystery because my girlfriend was the firearms examiner. And so did I have a plot? And did I, you know, we talked about what could happen. I would throw ideas out there, I should say, and she'd go, okay, that might work. Okay, that might work. She kind of egged me on. But it was really just about sitting down and seeing where it took me. And as the first book and not really knowing, that's where I went with it.
All right, we're talking with Carrie Johnson, great writer. I loved your book, and I called Hot Flash, and it doesn't really have anything to do with menopause.
A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Because most of the other part of this and starting this book was that I like reading mysteries, and all of the protagonists who are female detectives or whatever, they're always young. And I don't want to say older, more mature now. I wanted a more mature protagonist.
Yeah.
So she's like going into her 50s.
Yeah.
You know, and so hence Hot Flash, but it also has to do with the story being hot.
We
too.
have a great tradition of African American writers. Walter Mosley.
Like to read him.
Yeah, Frankie Bailey, Barbara Neely, great writers and mystery writers and so on. Did you read some of their work? Did you get inspiration from their work, or is it just a general milieu of writers that you
I have
like?
read all of them, plus Valerie Wilson Wesley.
Oh, yeah, yes, that's right, yeah.
Maya Angelou.
Of course, yeah.
But I
shouldn't have started this list here.
I also like Robert Parker in the Spencer character, and Patricia. The lady who writes the A to Z series.
Oh,
I have read
yes,
practically
of course,
all of them.
Yeah, Sue Grafton, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
I like reading everything, and I hopefully I'll sit down. I want to write everything. I don't want to just write mysteries. I love reading all kinds of. I just got through reading for my book club The Underground by Colton Whitehead. You know, which is about the Underground Railroad, and that was an excellent book. So I just like reading, all kinds of literature. Okay, and I think you have to read to write well.
Yeah. Who was the African American writer who was born? Pauline Hopkins, was it? She was born right around the Civil War time.
Okay.
She was one of the first novelists. African American novelists, you know,
Okay.
and you know, as you know, they weren't allowed to read or write, you know.
Wow! Yeah,
So,
you're educating me.
Yeah, we had a great tradition, and yet in mystery writers, they're probably quite a minority, right?
There's about 8, 10, maybe more black women, female mystery writers.
Yes, many more.
Good.
Well, actually, there's many more women. Period of all racial than men for mystery
writers. Yeah, and there's the cozy mysteries versus this isn't your traditional mystery. It's more like a mystery thriller. It's not the somebody got killed, who done it kind of thing. It's not that.
How long did it take you to write this?
This one took me a while because
Yeah, the first one always takes a while. Yeah.
yes, and I had to take a course. I took a 2-year online writing course to learn how to write fiction.
Oh, really?
Again, I'm a journalist.
Well, and that was successful, huh?
It was. It really helped a lot. And then I took another course for specifically writing mysteries. And all the time I'm taking these courses, I'm writing this book. I'm, writing it and changing it and all that. So it might have been over a course of 4 years on and off. If you put all the time together, it was probably a couple of years.
And did you have a particular, you say, today I'm going to write so many words, or I'm going to spend so much time writing, or you just go?
I would sit down and write until I was just drained for that time.
Yeah.
But then I also read somewhere where it said, don't ever, deplete all of your thoughts. Always leave with knowing where you're going to go when you sit down next time. So I paid attention to that, and it helped me move forward a lot.
All right. Well, talk a little about, there's a son in Travis, and we find out that he is, his mother is not exactly his mother, right? And,
I don't know if I want to say any more than that. That Muriel is not really his mother. No, she's not. But we will find out by the end who that is.
Oh, okay. I thought that comes early in the book. That she's not his real mother. Yes.
But getting into who is his real mother means you have to kind of unravel some other things that I'm not sure we should do here.
All right. Well, let me do this. You have another book. This is a surprise. It hasn't come out yet.
I do.
Oh, okay. And obviously, I haven't even looked at it or read it. So this is Hot Flash, the one that's coming out.
The one that's
out in last year. And now we have Cold Flash.
The one that's coming out is Cold Flash.
All right. So and it's a sequel. So we have Muriel back again, this firearms expert from the Philadelphia Police Department, who knows all about guns. And as I was saying, I thought this was very autobiographical because it was so real how much she knew about guns and forensics and so on. So what's Cold Flash about?
Cold Flash focuses on the opioid epidemic, which is big in Philadelphia as it is in a lot of major cities. And why Cold Flash? Why that name? Because, going through withdrawal, you have cold flashes. So hence the name Cold Flash. But it is, again, a case where Muriel's family it hits close to home for her, and she has to take a step a little bit outside the law in order to keep her family safe.
I want to read that and have you back when it comes out. When's it coming out?
It comes out May 30th.
Oh, May 30th.
May 30th.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I can't wait because. And did you spend as much time on that as you did on this? Or
no, very different. When I landed a publisher, then a publisher dictates.
Oh, and
it's a learning curve.
Yeah.
So I had to do something that I'd never done before, and I had to write an outline. So I had to think through the book right up front. I had to write an outline. For them.
Uh-huh.
And then I had 9 months to write the book.
They have to approve it?
They approved it.
Yeah.
Because it's not a continuation. It's a different story, same characters, different stories.
So when you submitted Hot Flash, did they ask you to make changes?
No, just editing changes.
Just editing, just like line editing type of changes.
And when I pitched Hot Flash, I pitched a second book. Okay. So the publisher picked up both of the books. All right. And so I had to do an outline, and then I had a shorter period of time to write this one. And that made the outline was very helpful in keeping me to that task.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as much fun as writing Hot Flash.
So you had this great business, multi-million-dollar business, and then you went to writing, and you probably, like most of us writers, we probably don't make a living off of it. So
Absolutely.
you have to teach, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I love teaching. It's not like you have to. I mean, I love teaching. I love writing.
And you're a mom of three boys.
3 boys, but they're all grown. I have grandchildren, so.
No
We're
way.
all good. We're all good. They're all grown out of college.
You're a grandma?
I'm a grandma.
I believe you.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, yes.
God.
All my kids went to college. They're out there. I've got grandkids.
Really?
And
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you look really good. Yeah.
For my age, you say?
I don't want to ask what your age is, but I would have never guessed you were a grandma.
Oh, I am.
A mom, maybe, but certainly not a grandma. Yeah. One of the things that, since you're in education, I think humanities is getting short shift in many of the school systems. Do you find that the case?
As far as reading and writing?
Yes, music and art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, writing complete sentences even. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
The kids, and it's all about the computer and spell check and texting so many characters and shorthand and everything, so that it's really damaging, I say.
Yeah. What's your challenges in teaching? Oh, well, you teach business. You don't really teach writing, right?
Right. I teach communication and business courses, but business ethics, that kind of thing, online. But they still need to do some writing. But I don't, and I do spend some time, with them.
So you teach business ethics, isn't that kind of like an oxymoron or something?
That's one of the questions. Is business ethics worldwide? Is it an oxymoron? That's a point of discussion.
We find a lot of big businesses don't have much ethics.
Right. Well, there's a lot of case studies out there. It's an interesting class, and it's actually online. It's one of the online courses that I teach. Yeah.
So when you wrote Cold Flash, you already had an outline. This one you didn't outline,
no
right?
outline.
Yeah. So you had it already outlined. So you just kind of like fill in the chapters.
You do, but and maybe it's not exact to what I gave them, because again, you sit down and you let the characters lead you. And maybe it's going to be a little bit different than what was in the outline. But it all came together.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. Well, as I say, I'm looking forward to reading it. Yeah. What were some of the problems or some of the challenges in setting a book between 2 cities, Philadelphia and Boston? There's some... you're going to chide me for giving away the story. That takes place in Boston.
There are some parts that take place in Boston, and those were the easy parts because, hey, here I am.
Yeah.
Boston and on the Vineyard, there are some parts that take place there. The parts in Philadelphia were a lot harder, and that's where most of it took place. But I took a lot of trips, visited my girlfriend a lot. Sometimes I just ride around the city looking for locations, like I was sighting for a movie or something.
And so when you talk about a particular gun, here, you got your information from your friend, right?
Not always.
Yeah.
Like I said, she gave me a lot of material to look over and read, and I did a lot of research, and I would write the book, and then I would give it to her to make sure that I had everything correct, all right, and that everything, lined up. And so if she said that kind of gun wouldn't have this, you need to have this kind of gun, then I would make some changes and do some rewriting. But that's what she was, my advisor, if you will. And I think one of the best compliments I got was somebody from Philadelphia said that it really did sound like I was from Philadelphia, So they said that I did a good job. So that was one of the best compliments that I got.
Yeah, you don't have any Philadelphia type of accents or anything like that in there. That's
no,
not part of the
I say park the car and have it, just like everybody from here.
Yeah, and is there going to be a third? When you signed up, is there?
There is, yes.
In the word.
Hopefully this is a 3 series. Maybe there'll be a 4th even. But yes, I am working on the 3rd one now, and we'll see.
What was it like when you got this in a box of this? When they first looked at this, and saw a box of your books. I mean, I'll tell you the story that why I asked. The first book I published, it was quite a long time ago. It was around 1990, and this was kind of before computers. I went to the Library of Congress, and I just happened to be in Washington, and typed in my name, and out comes this book. You know that I just felt so proud of that. What do you feel when you first have your published book?
When I do this, I open it up, I pull one out, and I run downstairs or wherever my son is, and I go, look, it's here.
Yeah.
And then we sit down and talk about it. And those are my sons, are my kids are my, they're my strength, my life, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, wow, this is really good, and they actually sat down and read it.
It's really something to be proud of,
Yes.
isn't it? That you've completed this, even though, as you say, you make more money in teaching.
You write for yourself. You write for your, that was the one thing I would say to people is, if you're going to write, you're doing it for the enjoyment of it and
the discovery too,
Yes.
because you're discovering things about yourself,
Yes.
even though you're writing about other people.
Isn't that interesting that you say that? Yes,
Yeah.
that is so true.
What did you discover about yourself?
That I can do anything I put my brain to, and that means not just writing this, but kicking the bad guys behind and overcoming all these challenges.
We're down to our last minute or so, but this is one of the things that I really like about mysteries is, in the real world, there's no justice. And mysteries is justice, and I think we read mysteries for that. You find justice in your book. What do you feel when you complete it? Satisfied. And also that you have restored the sense of justice. All right, Carrie Johnson, so wonderful to talk to you. This is Local Authors with Kameel Nasr. I'm Kameel Nasr, and we wish you wonderful